Hey, good Monday evening, Enlightened Women Tribe. Hey, welcome to Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. So glad that it's Monday. So glad that you are here with us in this sacred space as our sisterhood gathers as we do on Mondays, because this is what I like to say. It is all things enlightenment and empowerment for Black women in midlife and beyond. So welcome. This is where we have fun, where we can let our hair down and have some good, great, wonderful, real conversations as women in midlife. And of course, you know that this is a place where we get to learn and grow as we redefine what midlife is. We're deciding that it's not going to be chaos for us, but we get to redefine, reimagine, and come on, have a rebirth of who we are as we walk into the fullness of ourselves. Yes, and yes. Come on. If you have subscribed, you can leave some comments because this is a conversation and we like to hear from you. So come on, say hey to your sisterhood, say hello. I'm so glad that you are here. And while you're there, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share it with sisters. Make sure you engage your notification bell so that you know every time we're on. Because sometimes, we might just jump on in the middle of the week or something might hit us, something good may happen, and we don't want you to miss it. So, hey, Sonia, hey, Sister Max, it's so good to see your names. I'm just glad that you are here. Welcome. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Y'all, guess what? We have made it to a brand new month. Can you believe it? We're in a new season. My favorite season of the year is fall. Love the crisp, clear air and the beautiful leaves as they turn. Yeah, then when we get to December, I'm like, yeah, okay. That's about it to my loving of the new season. But I'm grateful for every season. How about you? How y'all doing? Just check in. Let's do a check in. How you doing? How you been? How you feeling? How's your mind? How's your spirit? And can I tell you, I'm also excited because October is not only Breast Cancer Awareness Month, not only is it Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but it is Menopause Awareness Month. Who knew, right? As much as this has been my topic, my passion, as we talk about and grow in midlife, I had no idea, but I'm so glad that I can continue to learn. And not only that, World Menopause Day is October 18th. So, of course, we cannot, as Mondays in the meditation room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings, we cannot let October go without having some special conversations this month with some special guests. I'm so excited. How about you? Yeah. Hey, come on. Say hey to your sister. Tell me you glad to see her on tonight. Glad she joined you in the room. And I'm so glad you joined us in the room. I just love it. When I say meditation room, I literally mean it, right? For those of you that this is your first time in the meditation room, this is literally my meditation room. When my son moved out, I said, dude, I'm going to take over your room, do some paint up, have some stuff on the walls, and this is my space. I still have more to do, but there's some amazing things that happen when you create your own space that's just for you, where you get to go in and remember who you are. When you get quiet, keep your boundaries, and that's your space, whether it's a room or a table and a chair or a bench or a kneeling bench or something. I have my Harlem Candle Company candle, Josephine, which is my favorite scent from Harlem Candle Company. Y'all know I like supporting Black businesses, especially Black women-owned businesses. So if you love candles and you love unique scents, try the Harlem Candle Company. So, as you know, we're not on all night because we have to then make sure we power down and do our nightly rituals so that we can get good sleep. Because sometimes in midlife, when you're dealing with perimenopause or menopause, that insomnia try to get you and give you a hard time to get your good sleep. So we're starting instead of 9 now, we're starting at 8. And tell the sisters it's not on Facebook anymore. I'll drop the link in, but we're building up our YouTube channel. So thank you for joining me and making the move. So tonight, I'm so very excited as we kick off this Menopause Awareness Month. We're going to be talking about so many different pertinent and important subjects for us, and we'll talk about that at the end. But I want to get to our special guest on tonight. I almost want to just call her the resident doctor for enlightened woman. I mean, she always comes and drops the knowledge raw and real for us, and always looks stunning doing it. And I am so grateful for her always making herself available to help us to grow and to learn. So tonight, our guest on Mondays in the meditation room, as we kick off this October, is the one and only Dr. Sharon Denise Allison-Ottey. Amen. I went through the whole name. I just love it, love it, love it. And so I'm going to take a moment. We're going to make sure you get her social so that you can contact her. Her bio is phenomenal, and you'll be able to read all of it. But I just want to say a few things for those of you who may be meeting her for the very first time. Is an energetic, true, and engaging speaker, true, author, health educator, physician, and health strategist and consultant. She is the CEO of Carlden Inc. and Beautiful Woman Inside and Out. And she also serves as the executive director of the Koshar Healthy Communities Foundation. I am so excited that she is a nationally recognized lecturer, speaker for healthcare professionals, and she has numerous medical, political, and civic organizational memberships. She has received many awards and citations from organizations and community organizations. She's appeared on numerous local and national television programs, even co-hosted a radio program for several years. She has been quoted or written articles for publications including Red Book, Essence, Heart and Soul, Gospel Today, Jet, Ebony, USA Today, and Black Enterprise. She's also an author, y'all. Yes, yes, and yes. Creating the new genre of this fiction with a purpose. Her book title is All I Ever Did Was Love a Man. I remember it was good. Y'all should get it. Amen. And I don't know how happy I was. It was so much truth in it, but I just wasn't happy with that one. That is that chicken wing worth it. Oh my God. Woo! You gotta get it. And she made some beautiful cards by Sharon. I'm just excited. And I encourage you when the opportunity comes, when she gives you her information, to go to her website, read the entire bio, because Black women are doing some amazing things and we need to celebrate each other for it. But on tonight, she's joining us on the platform as we talk about embracing transformation in midlife. Will y'all help me welcome Dr.
Hi.
Yay! Yay, yay, yay. I love it. We have somebody watching all the way from North Chesterfield near Richmond, Virginia. So excited. That's why I just absolutely love this virtual
Still
platform,
white.
because people
My
join us.
member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Yes, I just did a little Facebook Live. So
Yay, good. So I'm believing your sorors will join you. Then the
yes,
women will join you, because this is just a wonderful opportunity. How are you?
I am fine, fine, fine. I absolutely got to give you shout out. Love, I love you. uh, and we go way back. And so
I
thank you
know.
for inviting me to the platform, and thank you for always letting me be real and be the real, unrestricted Dr. Sharon. I'm ready.
Ah,
We ready?
yes, that's the only way we can have it. And
That's
the
right.
truth is, that's the only way we get helped.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
And
right.
at this point in our lives, we don't have time for nothing that is not
That's
real.
right. That's right.
So we need the power, we need the truth. And so, hey, Yolanda, I'm so glad. How are you? You watching from Durham, North Carolina. Did you relocate? you forgot to tell us? Oh, now you just traveling. What is going on? But I'm so glad to see you in the place. I absolutely love it. So tonight, everybody, we are, first of all, Dr. Sharon, I'm sure you may have known, it was new to me last year when I found out that there was a world, first of all, it was a world menopause day, and then a world menopause month. I had no
Mhm,
idea.
mhm, mhm. Oh, yes, I did, and I've done one other talk, and I think I have one or two more scheduled for this month. But on World Menopause Day, yes,
Mhm.
and we take it for granted here. But in some
Yes.
cultures, menopause is like the end of the world for people, for women. Because of, again, in some cultures, you're only valued by your ability to have children.
Yes.
So it is really important that we are celebrating and embracing, I love the title, the transformation.
Yes, because you know the what I and of course I've been doing research and reading and reading. I'm
Mhm.
always reading, and one link leads to this, and one link leads to another. And you know, I found that a lot of the help that's going on for women in menopause is in the UK.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes. England is leading it, and if you think about world leaders, England has been a bit progressive. Think
Yes.
about Margaret Thatcher was the first female equivalent to our presidency, so
Yes.
we still,
I was outdone for a minute. I was like, wait a minute, what?
yep,
And I mean, they're having conversations, they're having um uh large, conferences, and just really taking the stigma away and the silence. So as you know, coming to several of our serenity
yeah.
experiences, um, the women that I talk to, when I say, did anyone ever talk to you about midlife or talk to you about menopause? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no.
No, no, because we don't want to talk about it. I want to give a shout out. She was just on my live. Representative Andrea Harrison is on.
Hmm.
Hi. Um, you're exactly right. And sometimes we have been so, but you think about it, it just doesn't start with menopause. Think
Right.
about the shame you may have had starting your period.
Yes.
Right. And then
Yep.
you kind of go through, and nobody really talks about sexuality. And
Mhm.
nobody talks about women's sexuality. We're supposed to be these submissive creatures that
Mm.
only are there to pleasure men. And then perimenopause. And
Mhm.
then the stigma is real. It is.
Yeah. And nobody, and I actually, look, I'm gonna just put it out there in the atmosphere. I have a whole outline of wanting to do some classes and
Yeah.
really opening up an academy. I'm playing with the name, but I really want to create it as a rites of passage, talking
Mhm.
about the onset of menses and on, and our
Yes.
reproductive health starting at a very young age. Because what I've also found in my conversations, Dr. Adi, is that sometimes when women get ready, in particular Black women, they get ready to have children or whatever, and then they're really going to their GYNs and finding out that something is wrong.
That's right. That's right. And what you do early on can affect your fertility.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I do the thing, how many men, and can affect other aspects.
Hmm.
So and we have to teach women to teach our young girls and our granddaughters and our daughters simple things like HPV vaccination.
Wow.
If you get HPV and have scarred tubes, you may not be able to have children. And
Wow.
so early on, I was out here saying, hey, get vaccinated. People are like, oh, no, I'm not going to tell people. No, actually, it's for your health and it's for your fertility. And Black women have a huge issue with infertility that we don't talk about.
We
How
don't talk
many of
about
us
that either.
out here have had fibroids? How many of you have had other GYN issues? The gift of life is a miracle,
Hmm.
to be honest.
It is. And I said I was going to, that is also on my list. I don't know how many of you sisters here tonight, or if you've had a chance to view the documentary Eggs Over Easy, which
Yes.
absolutely deals with Black women and reproductive health and infertility. That's another thing that's hush hush, and we don't want to talk about it. Or women who deal with very heavy and painful
Yes.
periods, or have pain and know something's wrong and go to the doctor, and they keep telling them it's nothing,
It's in
and
your mind.
it's in your mind, and they're dealing with, endometriosis. Or, and there was another one, I said I was going to write it down. It was something plasia. Is that, I can't remember it. I have to look it up before we leave. But that there's so many young women that it is starting even earlier at 30, when they're
Yes.
having issues and having trouble finding a doctor that
Mhm.
will really listen to them and are well versed in it.
That's right. That's right.
And so we're here tonight to create a freedom from that, to get away from that stigma. It's no different than us saying we need to talk about mental health. We
That's
need to
right.
talk about Black women's reproductive health, menopause, midlife, all of the above. Because
Mm.
it's not like not talking about it is going to stop it or
That's
change
right.
it.
That's right. And you know what? I never give a talk. I don't care. I can be talking, and I'm doing a whole tour on breast cancer this month, um, and early next month. But there's never a time that
Mhm.
I address women that menopause does not come up.
Mhm.
So we want to talk about it, but you have to be in a safe place to be able to talk about all the spectrum. And y'all, we're not just talking about hot flashes, because we
Right.
often want to just get
Mhm.
stuck on, okay, it's the my period stopped, the hot flashes, some
Mhm.
mood swing. No, there is a whole bunch of stuff that goes on and how we deal with it mentally as well. So we're ready. I'm ready to talk about it and to take questions or to just
Yeah.
engage your audience. And thank you for the pioneer work that you're doing.
Yes, I am so grateful. So, sisters, that you are here. This is our time. If you have any questions, go ahead, put it in the chat. Any thoughts that you have, and I wanted to ask, because I was reading the article right before I came on, and it was alluding to the fact that Black women often have perimenopausal symptoms earlier
Mhm.
than white women,
Mhm.
and the symptoms are usually more intensified.
Right, right. And that is true. And the greatest, best way to know when you're going to go through menopause is
Mhm.
to ask your mother.
Mm.
Ask your mom, because just like we start our periods within 12 months to 24 months of when our mother started her period, it's the same thing with menopause. It is, again, usually within 1 year. So if she was 55, if she was 48, if she was 45 and did
Mhm.
not have surgery, and understands the symptoms and all that, that her period stopped when she was 44, you can best believe between 30, 43, 44, and 45, you will have menopause, and become perimenopausal. And some
What
women have
about
absolutely no physical symptoms.
how
God
my
bless you.
mother is like that.
God
I
bless
was
you.
like, what? Why am I over here roasting like a turkey in the oven? How would you not have hot flashes and I'm having them and all? And but I'm wondering, I had a hysterectomy,
Mhm.
and it's been years. And I didn't know whether that had any effect at
Mhm.
all, because it was a super cervical
Mhm.
hysterectomy and I still had my ovaries.
Okay.
And I was like, what is happening? I didn't think I was gonna have to deal with it, but
Oh no, you
yeah.
still got them ovaries. The uterus
Mhm,
does not really do anything but carry the baby. It's the suitcase. It
mhm.
is the ovaries that carries the eggs. It is
Yes.
the ovaries
Mhm,
where those hormones are going to be released from. So yes, if you and you need to ask, at least you know. And you were technical, super cervical, so you know you still have your cervix, but
mhm,
also it is that you have your ovaries. They did not take your ovaries out. And if you have your ovaries, you may have those, the hormones start to decline. And
mhm,
that is what I love to talk about menopause in this way. We are born and we babies. We
mhm,
got all the eggs we ever going to have when we are a little infant.
mhm,
And then we start our period. Every month we're releasing an egg, right? And then, so that's why we say people get hot in the pants.
mhm,
Yeah. because your body's hormones rev up around ovulation to say, hey, you should have a baby. So
Wow.
that's why you may have, again, we talk to girls hot. Again, it is your hormones are revved up within 24, 48, 72 hours of that egg being released, because we are all animals.
Yep.
Now, we humans, but and so the cycle of life must continue. Well, then you start and you go through your fertile years. Boom, that's fine. Then your body says, wait a minute, you about 46, you about 40, whatever. You used to get ready to start menopause. So I'm gonna have spotting this month. I ain't gonna have spot next, because I don't know if I'm supposed to have a baby or not. That's what perimenopause is. That's all it is. I don't know if I'm supposed to have a baby or not. And the hormones are like, I'm going to release this month, next month not. And then menopause is, yeah, the ovaries are closed. We closing this up. We ain't having no kids, so ain't no need to shed the uterus. That's all of a woman's life cycle right there.
Wow.
Now, how do you want to address the questions? I see some good questions.
Let's look. Thank you. So here's the first one I see. I hope I didn't miss one before that. It was, do we know how long? Oh, see, that's why we need you here. And that's why we need to ask this question. See, I've heard you, so I know, but I want you to feel comfortable asking these questions, because the first one is, do we know how long a woman stays in menopause? So
I'm infamous for this, if you've ever
I
heard me
know.
talk. 1
day.
And it's not a year. 1 day. And people are like, you crazy. She's a quack. No. Menopause technically is 365 days of no period at all, no spotting, no nothing. 1 day, that day. So January 1st, December 31st, you stop having a period. Next year, January 1st is your day of menopause. Buy yourself something, go have some fun, do whatever, because it's shut it down. And as I say all the time, don't have a bunch of fun on New Year's Eve, Christmas, whatever, and you kick out one more egg, try to get out, and you become a 60, 50, 45-year-old with an unexpected pregnancy. Until you hit that 1 year, that is the rule of thumb. That is the day of menopause. Now, my caveat is menopause is 1 day, but them symptoms, they can go typically not more than 18, 24 months, typically. Although I've told this story before, when I was in geriatric fellowship, there was a 90-some-year-old woman that said, oh, I'm still having hot flashes. I just said, nah. What? I'm serious. She said, I still get a flash. I let her have that. No medical reason whatsoever. She was just cold because them veins were a little spirally and she wasn't having enough blood, but she was getting hot and cold. That was it. But I let her have that. She wanted to think she was in menopause. I let her,
Wow. So here's some of it's like, how do I know that I'm in menopause or perimenopause? And if having tubes tied or anything like that causes I guess the onset of menopause, or is it just a part of being in that age range?
I want you to think of things mechanically and hormonally. So having tubes ties does nothing except for if you had a water hose outside and you clipped it, right? So the water would be clipped, that you would clip it here and there was a disconnect. That's all you had when your tubes are tied. Burned off the ends and that's it. That means that the egg cannot get from the uterus through those tubes, and it actually, because the tubes don't conduct. That's mechanical. But they didn't do anything to your ovaries.
Okay.
So you still have estrogen, progesterone that are moving around. And so, no, it is not going to affect or bring on hormonal menopause. No, it's not.
That is a good question. I have one before we get to the next one. I asked my doctor recently whether, because I've had a hysterectomy, so I no longer have a cycle, I can't gauge it by that.
Right.
And so I asked was there a test, or is there anything that I can do? Is there to get my hormones? How would I know if I'm actually in menopause? Do I just stop having symptoms, or is there some type of hormonal test that can be taken to know if you
Mhm.
don't have your cycle anymore?
So another great question. I want you to think again, mechanical and
Mm-hmm.
think hormonal.
Mm-hmm.
The day you had your hysterectomy is the day you had menopause. Surgical
Wow.
menopause.
Surgery. Mm-hmm.
Surgical menopause, because no longer can you get pregnant because you don't have the suitcase, i.e.,
Mm-hmm.
the uterus that carries a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But the ovaries are still like, I'm cool. Let me put it. I'm gonna try to put out an egg, but the egg doesn't have anywhere to go, right? It has no uterus to go to, so you can't get pregnant anymore. Now, your ovaries will start to teeter out. The body
Mm-hmm.
is wonderfully made
Mm-hmm.
that your ovaries and you will have a drop in estrogen, progesterone, and all those things will start to say, hey, okay, that is what drives menopause, the drop in hormones.
Okay.
Remember, I think I need to say that women, especially those of us that are carrying a few extra pounds, estrogen lives in fat, right?
Mm.
So yeah, estrogen loves a little fat cell.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get some weird results if we have some excess weight or whatever, because you do have some estrogen stores, and those estrogen stores have to be depleted. Okay.
Got it. That was so helpful. I was like, what?
But then you asked a good question I didn't answer. Yes, you can get hormonal testing
Mm-hmm.
for menopause, but it is your hormone. And remember, all of your tests, if the average is 10, it's a bell curve.
Okay.
Half of the people fall on this side, the other half fall on this side. If you are having menopausal symptoms, again, some people never ever have any symptoms. That doesn't mean they didn't go through menopause. It means that they just don't have the wild fluctuations in hormones that cause the increased stress, the increased mood swings, the hot flashes, all of that, the loss of hair, uh,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things that we don't necessarily readily talk about, the bloating. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have that. They're like, I was fine. I'm good. I didn't have any problem. Well, God bless you.
God bless you.
But don't talk too loud. You need to speak up. Don't talk too loud and you having a flash and you can't
Yes.
stand. So that's how you kind of know that, okay, I'm going through this phase.
Okay. So I want us to, even with this conversation, I love how you're using the term mechanical, because our bodies are created to do certain things,
Mm-hmm.
even when we have them altered for whatever reason. Our bodies are still wired to operate a particular way. So when you think about yourself, because I want to talk about trend, and I always like to widen the
Yes,
conversation
yes,
about menopause and what that means, because it really is a whole life
yes.
transformation. It's a
Mm-hmm.
whole life change. And when you think even of yourself, how would you um, I want to save that one to later. What would you say was the most significant change or transformation that you've made, or that you can recognize in yourself?
First of all, the acceptance of you've been lying about being 35, and you going I'm gonna say again, I'm 35. But the acceptance, I remember I was giving a talk and I was like, it's hot in here. What y'all doing? It's hot. And people like, no, I doubt it ain't. It ain't. I was like, yes, it's hot. And I'm walking around with fans and all that. And I didn't have major symptoms, but it was like when I am perimenopausal. So I was like, wait a minute, don't I have a couple slides on this? Wait a minute, I am bloated. I am hot. I am sweaty.
Mhm.
I just diagnosed myself in the middle of my own talk. This right here, what was my period? I don't know. So that was being honest. Now, two
Mhm.
things. Women will often embrace menopause because they like, good, I done had 10 kids. I can't have no more. That's great. Let's hang from the chandelier. Or
Mhm.
the opposite. It's, wow, I'm missing my friend. because
Mm-hmm.
every month a
Mm-hmm.
period showed up and it let me know that I still was vibrant. I still was young. Well, doggone, I done got older. And
Mm-hmm.
so my big thing was, how do I attribute, are these symptoms of my life? I'm
Mm-hmm.
just stressed out, or are they really hormonal symptoms? And some of that is a gray area. That is, again, has a physician, has a person that speaks about women's health and talks about sex, sexuality, menopause. All that was the big eureka. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I love transformation because, one of my friends says you will remake yourself at any time. I've been on this weight loss journey.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Pastor Kelly. I ain't tell you before.
Yeah!
I need to tell you before I forgot. So, so now I am engaged as of August 12th.
Yay! Congratulations, Dr.
Pray for you, girl. Yes, yes, yes. No. And so it is. How do you transform? In
Mm-hmm.
your midlife, now I'm not the young woman that was right out of med school that got married the
Mm-hmm.
first time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Yep.
out here a minute. I've been independent a minute. How do
Mm-hmm.
I now transform to this phase? And so that's why we have to talk about the entire arc of midlife.
Yes.
That's why I love
Yes.
midlife musing. So yes, menopause is part of it, but how do we transform? How do we address those things we really don't want to talk about in menopause?
Mm-hmm. That
Really.
is so good. And that I'm so happy for you, Adam.
I
I
forgot to
just
tell
love it.
you.
I just look, I've been seeing the pictures, but I didn't see any announcement. I've kind of been off and on social media,
I
so
didn't
I
announce.
have
People,
missed
I
it.
just
So
I had a ring on my fiance's chest, and then people like congrat. I said, "Dad, I ain't say nothing," but my father was
but
like,
sometimes
"Congratulations,"
that's
and it was
good.
a tidal wave.
Sometimes it's
So
good to
yes,
just live your life and be doing your thing and let other
yes,
people figure it out.
yes. So I
Let
didn't
them figure
officially
it out.
announce.
So okay, and that is so good. That's why we are hitting on as much as we possibly can, because it's a whole life transition. It's a whole life transformation and change. And it's your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, and then how you show up to your family,
Mm-hmm.
your job, your relationships. And because there's that question, because you were like, yeah, sometimes we're on the whole other end of the spectrum when the libido has dropped.
And
And
that's a question in the chat. I love
yep,
talking about sex. Go ahead.
yep. That's it, because that is something else that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it literally is like, no.
Mm-hmm. Where?
And you're like, your spouse is like, what? They
Mm-hmm.
don't understand it. And the truth of the matter is, as women don't understand it too. Like, what is happening to me? Like, does it come back? Or how do I get the help to even make it come back?
Right.
And sometimes part of it goes, but you have given so much in life, not just sexually, but yourself, your
Mm-hmm.
energy. You've
Mm-hmm.
let go of your own dreams. You haven't prioritized. So it's not even just the libido, it's the
Yeah.
mindset in
Yes.
this season that we have to, kind of work through.
Mm-hmm.
And transformation is the name of the game, and how we need to educate ourselves, find opportunities to talk about it, and be okay with it. We live in a nation, though, in a world that idolizes youth.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if it's subconscious, we don't want to age,
Mm-hmm.
but we do get to choose how we age.
How we age. That's right. And there are several questions in the chat that somebody asked, is it completely gone? It will your sex drive come back? Yes. And we can talk about that at your direction.
Mhm.
But yes, we idolize youth. We
Mhm.
think that the 20-year-old is beautiful. I'm sorry. I don't know about y'all, and y'all can put it in the chat or whatever. At 20, I thought I was pretty good. But I'm going to tell you now, at this age, I'm doing real good. Right?
Mhm.
I'm looking
Mhm.
real good. I'm
Mhm.
trying every day to do everything I can. I mean, and Pastor Keller, you know me from 20 years ago. I'm about half of what I was. You know what I mean? And you just kind of transform and move and be the best you can be
Yep.
right then. And what I tell young girls when I do talk to young women, I say all the time, honey, keep them legs closed. You don't know what an orgasm is at 16. You don't know what that is. He don't know what he doing. And you don't know what you're doing. That you because it actually
Yes.
can get better. And some women on the sexual spectrum after menopause, even with the hormones crashing, they will run down their husband and try to give him some Viagra because they now have male menopause themselves.
Yep. And that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole
I had
nother,
my husband on a couple of times, and it was so great. I told him I'm just going to have you come on at least once a month, or we just going to do our own whole show on midlife marriage and relationships and the whole 9 yards, because that's a whole nother.
My fiance said tonight, he was like, "Oh, you need a man on there with you to talk about, because we don't understand menopause and y'all don't understand menopause and midlife crisis, whatever." I said, "Okay, boo."
Yep. I have sisters. If y'all would go through the video archive, and you'll see where we talked about it. He was on twice, and it is so good, so helpful. So yeah.
And yes, men do have midlife crisis, menopause.
Yes.
I call it menopause.
And so we start talking about it. And he did some good reading this. And I said, why don't you just write a book then? I was like, if you can't find it all, just write one, because that what they call andropause, however you say it, but it is the same thing. We just know it as leaving your wife behind a sports car, blah, 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 blah. But it's so much more underneath that. And it's physical and it's emotional as well, and they definitely don't want to talk about that, but he's done a great job explaining it and kind of talking about, well, not really explaining it, giving his experience with it and talking about it. So it is, yes, all of it. We're not gonna get it all done tonight. That's why all month you just got come. We just gonna have Dr. Ottey back, and we're gonna talk next week. We're talking with some young ladies who are on the younger spectrum of perimenopause, and that one's called "Is It Just Me?" that perimenopause experience at that young age. Talking to some whose doctors have literally said, yeah, you're perimenopausal, and that whole conversation. But yeah, I still want to have children. Is this the end? What does that mean? And having that conversation with them. Then we're going to talk about confidence, and then I think Dr. Joelle Ballard will be here the fourth Sunday.
Excellent.
Dr. Whitehurst Brown will be here, but she's talking about, she has a whole thing called the Menopause Mogul, how to kind of follow your dreams while you're dealing with these symptoms and the whole 9 yards. So
it's just another phase. That's the thing. It is another phase, and we cannot, just like you, I like a little lipstick, like a little fashion, like whatever, but I'm not 22 no more.
Right.
And guess what? We are, and I saw this in the chat, we can be beautiful. And I'm not talking about what the world says is beautiful.
Right.
I'm talking about feeling your own beauty. And so, yes, is there dating in menopause? Yes, is there good sex in menopause?
Yes.
Is there whatever in menopause? Why not?
Look, here's another thing that I didn't know either. My good friend, Dr. Brown, she has her moniker. She's the erogenous coach. She's like, it's last week, was it last month? I can't remember. It was like National Orgasm Day. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
And she's doing a whole month this month, and every day she's giving a tip. So you look for the erogenous coach. Yeah, follow her every day. You want to work on it and talk about it. That's going to be a whole nother show when we have her on to talk about that. Is what we make it.
And you have to be intentional. So no, the light doesn't switch on now as quickly as it did. But, sidebar, you also got to know what switches on your own life and how to switch on your own.
Yeah. Now that's a whole nother subject. They'll be trying to sling oil on me and carrying on Dr. Ottey, but I'm like, you got to know your own body. You got to figure it out.
It ain't nothing wrong with it. You're supposed to know your body.
Figure it out. Because you can't tell nobody what to do, how to touch, if you don't, know. Have some fun figuring it out.
That's right. That's right. You have a whole bunch of comments. I'm trying
to say, what day is National It already passed. If you go back through my IG and scroll, you'll see it. You'll see it in there. So yeah.
Well, somebody asked me if I can jump in. Somebody asked in here, and I think I've seen it once or twice. What can you do for
Mhm.
menopausal symptoms naturally? Number one, pray it out. I'm serious, because some things work for other people and not. But if you have, and I say this because I get questioned about this all the time on hormones, and hormones got a bad supplemental hormones got a bad name several years ago.
Mhm.
Talk to your doctor if your symptoms are interrupting your life and you can't get
Mhm.
from A to Z. Honey, you're going to need to suck on some estrogen. You're going to
Mhm.
need a little progesterone. You're going to need a little help for
Mhm.
a little while, and you want the smallest dose possible for the shortest period of time. But talk about your symptoms. Now, let's go outside of medication.
Mhm.
Because there are vaginal creams, estrogen creams. Okay,
Mhm.
if you're having a lot of vaginal dryness, there's Uberlube. I got props. Uberlube. Again, lube it
Wait,
up. Replens.
let me put it
Whatever.
in the let me put in the comments. Uber lube.
Mm-hmm. Or replens that you just use once or twice, and that's whether you're sexually active or not. Because
Mhm.
a dry mouth ain't good, right? It's
Mhm.
irritating. The same tissue in your mouth is in the vajayjay. Your vajayjay
Ah,
don't like being dry.
wow.
So
No,
okay, lube it up.
no.
Even if you're not sexually active, but if you are sexually active, that's with yourself or somebody else. You have to make sure, because you can have cuts and tears in the vagina, and that's why for a lot of people in menopause, sex becomes so painful.
Mhm.
And it's painful because, again, you have to treat, again, how do you treat dry mouth? You drink water, and do drink your gallon of water a day, by the way,
Mhm.
for many reasons. But do those things. Vitamin E often may help with some of the menopausal symptoms, but simple things like you get hot all the time. Well, that means you don't wear no whole body turtleneck that you can't take off. You need to have layers. So wear
Layers, yes.
and then put some on and then take it off and then have a fan. Those kind of things that are normal. Drink ice cold water, which will lower your temperature. Those kind of things help
And
for
get
the mood.
you a Yeti, because can I tell you this
Oh,
thing?
yes,
I
yes,
put ice in there and put my water in there, and it keeps it cold all day and sometimes
yes,
all night.
that's right.
It's like I'm in the night fanning and drinking cold water.
Then you have
Oh,
to get up and go to the bathroom all the time.
yes, Lord Jesus, all of it. But what we are saying in this, and Dr. Adi, thank you for saying that. Some persons asked also about natural remedies. So we can't do it all tonight. So that means we'll
Mm-hmm.
have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say, and I think you just answered this question, because it was gonna be what are the top 3 things you would suggest women, and in particular women of color, to prioritize in midlife, and you kind of
But
was.
I cannot let it go on this part. We were talking about libido. We were talking about all that. Exercise.
Yes, it's
Exercise.
saving my life right now. I'm telling you, it is saving my
Exercise.
life.
You want your libido to be increased? Exercise. Exercise. And somebody said, be nice to the vajayjay, treat her well. Exercise. Lube it up. Do your kegels, those things, because kegel exercises, which I've taught people how to do forever, actually increase the vascular system, increase blood flow to the vagina, which will actually
Mhm.
help you in number one, wanting to have sex, but number two, will help you keep, we have to talk about uterine prolapse and bladder issues and that stuff. But
Yes.
that will help. And then when we talk about mood swings and maybe you're going through depression or additional stress, there are some antidepressants that will help with some of the menopausal symptoms. So a low dose of some, and I'm not going to name the drugs, but a low dose of some antidepressants
Mhm.
will help with the hot flashes as well as the mood swings and those things. And don't be ashamed to talk about your mental health. It's hard
Mhm.
out here. And it's hard out here sweating your hair out and all that and trying to be cute and having to go to work and deal with people or be on Zoom 50 hours.
Yep. And that's a whole nother conversation about managing your work life when you're going
Yes.
through.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is not conducive for that. And so how you manage your
Mhm.
your mood swings, your hot flashes, your all of that while you're at work. So we have to add that to the conversation.
Mhm.
So as we prepare to close, one of the first last things I want to ask is if you could share some wisdom with your 25-year-old self,
Mm.
what would that be?
Wow. I have to say, number one, I went so I graduated from college at 18, worked for 2 years. At 25, I was in residency.
Wow.
So, we have a whole private doctor, Black female doctor group, and we
Mhm.
talk about menopause, we talk about all this stuff. And so, for us, particularly some of my what we call mocha docs, are having issues now that say they're surgeons. So they had all this stuff, and then they had 4 years of residency, and now they want to have kids, but you actually are almost at the age of menopause. Did you freeze some eggs? Did you do
Right.
all those things? So that's a whole nother discussion. But I have to tell you, so if I would talk to my 25-year-old self, for me at that time, I was in the middle, I think, of fellowship and just kind of going and getting career off. I would tell myself that it ain't that serious.
Wow.
Life is not what we are always rushing
Mhm.
to the next phase, the next whatever. And
Mhm.
it's not that to enjoy the moment. Should you have taken off 6 months? Should you have taken off a year? Whatever. What
Mhm.
I tell myself now, and I'm really trying to tell myself this more, it ain't that serious.
That is so good.
Today you're not going to get it all done. You're
Mhm.
not going to have again. What you're not going to have the perfect hair to come talk to the glamorous Reverend Kelly. Y'all can look at them old pictures right there because I'm in the middle of move and gay, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And you, it's don't take yourself too seriously.
Mhm.
Now, handle your business and
That's
be
good.
honest with yourself. And I would admonish our women. I have a month-long challenge, get those mammograms done, look at my last
Mhm.
Facebook Live. So, but understand that you also have to be in the search for your happiness.
Yes.
Your happiness.
Mhm.
And that's not selfish. The
No.
25-year-old Sharon was probably trying to make sure every lottie dot and everybody, but the older Sharon now, mm-mm. I'm
Yep.
a caregiver. I love this picture behind me. It's the caregivers. They're
Mhm.
women. I love that picture. But at some point, I need you to give care to yourself. And that's what I would be telling myself. Don't go a year without having a massage or a facial or a day off. Don't just take a day off because you sick.
Mhm.
You need to breathe. And
Yep.
it's also Bubba. I'm sorry for my married sister, whatever. You ain't got to be up under Bubba all the
All
time.
the time.
You need to
Mm-mm.
go to the hotel and chant in your room by yourself and be all right. It'll be better when you get back to him.
Yes. Say it again for the people in the back.
Mhm,
Yes. That
mhm.
is so, so very true. Oh my God. Yes and amen to everything. Come on, everybody. Would you help me thank Dr. Adi for her wisdom and insight and candor? It has been so helpful. And it's like the more we talk, the more we know we need to talk about some stuff. That is absolutely such great advice because when you by the time you get to midlife, you are forced to be that fork in the road and you have to choose between changing some things, allowing the change so that you can prioritize yourself and begin to enjoy your life.
And I just want to add this because you've gotten several questions on herbal supplements.
Mhm.
Black cohosh, if you have hypertension, diabetes, absolutely not, or any history of heart disease, no. Remember, anything you take, and
Mhm.
someone asked me about red clover, anything you take
Mhm.
that is supposed to do something as a medicine. That's even if it's natural. If you take it,
Mhm.
it is a medicine with an outcome. So if you have other, and talk to your doctor, we ain't anti natural supplements. I take a lot of vitamin D
Mhm.
and vitamin E. Those help. And so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
No, we wanted them to get as much
yeah.
information as possible because that's very true. We don't want anybody to be fooled to think you can just go buy something over the counter just because it's natural and think it doesn't have any interaction with anything you may be
Mhm.
taking, or you may not be able to tolerate it. So that
Mhm.
was excellent advice. You need to talk to your doctor and talk to a pharmacist, because
Right.
that's the last thing you need and
And
want.
St. John's wort is used a lot. Again, if you have hypertension, you probably need to step back from that, and then but take the medication into your doctor and have a discussion.
Excellent. So we'll have to have another conversation about CBD and all
Yes.
of that, because those marketing ideas and well, not medicines, whatever there is coming out, and it can be very helpful. So
Right.
that's
If it don't hurt you, and that's with natural meds.
mm-hmm.
If you don't have underlying conditions, if it does not hurt you and you think it helps you,
Yep.
okay. But just be honest with yourself. And there have been things in the news where people have lied to doctors
Mm-hmm.
and not told them that they have a health condition because they wanted plastic surgery. We need to whole talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic surgery, whatever, and you have a bad outcome. We don't heard it all. You can go
Yep.
ahead and tell them. And do bring your natural meds in. And if your doctor is not versed in natural meds, again, talk to someone else and do some of your own research. But I have to end it with this: your WebMD, Google.
It's not your that's not your doctor.
Now don't be telling nobody that.
Woo!
Okay.
Don't do it. Thank you. You saving some lives here tonight as well. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So y'all just join us, and please, Dr. Adi, can you give us your social so people can find you?
Find me on Facebook, Sharon Denise Allison-Ottey. Right now, that name be changing some, but Sharon Denise Sharon, Dr. Sharon on Instagram, Dr. Sharon Allison-Ottey. And if you're on Facebook, follow me. I'm up to my followers, but what I do when somebody drop off, I go up to the followers and add you in. So do make those requests, but do follow me. I do a lot of talking. Hi, Sora DeSandra Winnie, Washington. A lot of persons, I think, heard part of my Facebook Live, but I'm going to post this link. And thank you, Dr. Kelly. I have to end it to say menopause is just a season, right? We are perimenopause is all just a season. How you gonna rock it this season? We can rock it in the summer with the great outfit. We rock it in the fall with the great outfit. We walk it in the winter with the great outfit. This is the season of your life to rock where you are. Be the best you can be every day, and be honest with yourself.
I love it. We are closing tonight with this thought from the Enlightened Woman: Inspiration and Reflections to Rediscover the Joy of Being You in Midlife and Beyond.
Get
You
it.
can get it on Amazon, or you can hit me up and get it from me directly. This is our closing thought. In midlife season and beyond, it's vital that we don't give in to the crisis and chaos that abound when this inevitable transformation takes over our psyches and bodies. You have two options: retreat from the upheaval or master it. This is your opportunity for a radical reset. Transform the narrative of midlife and celebrate the madness and magnificence of coming into your own. You're giving birth to your divine self, and enjoy your life. Thank you all so much for joining us on tonight on Mondays in the meditation room. Don't forget to subscribe if you're right here on this YouTube channel. We're still working on it. We're still learning, Dr. Adi. It's not perfect, but I decided to move forward with perfection, and it'll look all fancy with the bells and whistles as the months go along. But go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead, hit that notification bell so that you know when we're on or when new videos drop. But definitely join us all month long. It is going to be so life affirming and life changing for you in this most sacred and amazing season of your life. Have an amazing evening, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I love it. I got my own theme song, Dr. Ottey. I had one of my musicians make me one. I just love it because I just love jazz and cool vibes. Enjoy your evening, everybody. And we will see you next Monday on Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. Have a good one.